pay attention. One of the great things about being a child actor is that you get to watch grown-up actors work. And I was very lucky. You know, when you're a child actor, you're usually playing somebody's son. And if you're lucky enough, your parents are, you know, Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward, Julie Harris, Christopher Plummer, Barbara Bel Geddes, Barry Nelson, Geraldine Page, Ben Gazzara, you name it. I mean, the list goes on. I had years and years and years of all of these fantastic actors to watch, to pay attention to listen to. A lot of wonderful directors. And then you feel that you've learned something. It is going to school. It's apprenticing is what it is. It really is the old way of apprenticing, and I think it's a terrific way to learn how to do this particular profession. I think it's great that there are theater programs, because so many kids from all over the country, in all different parts of America, can study and become professional actors. I was lucky. I was raised in New York in the theater, and I had a different entrance into it. But you can learn on the job in this profession in a wonderful way, and that's really what I did. As far as the texts are concerned, I like text. I love the words. I love the words. I love the music of the words. I love that each different playwright has a different sound, that you can unpack their speeches differently, and you can listen for their, you know, how they build speeches and how they build characters. It's terrific. I would imagine it's like scores of music.
Was there ever a point in your formative years when you thought about being something other than an actor, maybe a fireman or a police chief, or that your parents said, don't go into the theater?
There have been times in my life when I was afraid that I would have to be something else besides an actor, but that's a very, very different kind of fear, because I don't think I know how to do anything else. No, never. I never wanted to ever do anything else. I've always been I've written. I like writing. I have a huge admiration for writers. I've published a few small books of poetry, which I'm, you know, in my own small way, proud to have done, and happy that I got a chance to do. I have make no pretense about being a writer, but that's really sort of the only torch I've carried, other than just wanting to be an actor. I love it. I'm very lucky I've gotten to do it.
And your parents, being in the theater themselves, in ballet, never said, oh, get a real job, something that you can always have a job.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about ballet, being raised by ballet dancers, it is a real job. And you know, this business, this question you asked me about preparing for a role, when you're raised by dancers, the discipline, and you get to watch how they go to work and how they work with a choreographer, the idea that they work in repertoire all the time, the work ethic of my parents, and the collegial experience of the ballet company, the extended family collegial example was really great for me, and I got lucky on that. No, they loved it. You know, they were happy.
I want to come back to, you were talking about the text and the reliance on the text, and your prior New York stage appearance to Democracy, which is now just about upon us, was Terrence McNally's Stendhal Syndrome. And Terrence McNally is a playwright who, certainly of living playwrights, I think who you've probably returned to the most. There's the Shakespeare guy, but he's not in the room. And I'm just wondering about the affinity and the relationship as an actor who keeps working with a certain writer's voice.
It's interesting. It's a great question, and every actor has the various playwrights that they have a particular affinity for. If it's a living playwright, you're really lucky. It's a great experience to have a relationship with a playwright you respect. Terrence is part of a generation of writers, along with Edward. He's younger than Edward, but it's that in that period
Edward
in
Albee.
New York, Edward Albee, in that period in the 60s and all that, it's a particular sound and style in a way that went into my ear as a young actor. It's a particular feeling about writing. It's kind of ineffable. If I had more time, I could think about it, sort of explain exactly what I mean. However, you internalize the playwrights you hear as in your youth, and for some reason, I mean, from the time I did Andre's Mother, and then after that, Lisbon Traviata, I just fell in love with his work for many reasons. They're language plays, which I love, and they are plays in which at some point the actor has to be completely exposed. You can run, but you can't hide. There's no place to hide in a Terrence McNally play. He's going to put you right out there on a limb with him. He's going to get out there with you, and you're going to saw away until it falls off. And that's very exciting. And so there's no cover. And when he sent the Stendhal Syndrome, and he sent me the play, and he said, look, this may not be your cup of tea. However, I think this may be a part that you would really enjoy. I read it and I thought, I told him, I said, if any other actor gets within 50 feet of this play, I'm going to kill him. I thought, it was terrible to have that feeling. I was like a dog over my dinner. I thought this role is just fantastic. It was a beautifully written part and so passionately written. Terrence's passion, the what I like to call the fierce vulnerability of his characters, because they're fierce but they're extremely open and vulnerable, appeals to me a great deal.
And then contrast or compare that with now working with Michael Frayn, who comes out of the British tradition.
Very different.
And how do you adjust, adapt, and how does that play for you?
Frayn's music is very, very different in this play. Certainly, every excess word, every extra word has been taken out. I think there is no fat on the text at all. It's just what needs to be said. Certain speeches read almost as if they're written in shorthand. The phrases can be quite long. There's some Marlovian lines in it, but there's great concision, no sentimentality, but a great deal of feeling and passion. But so it isn't drier. It is highly cerebral, but it's densely packed and stripped away of any excess. There's no fat on the bones at all. So it's quite
a great contrast within 1 year on New York stages.
That's true. It's an amazing contrast.
Well, Democracy goes into previews in a couple days on the 3rd of November.
3rd of November.
And then it opens on November 18th.
Yes, it does.
So curtain will go up.
Yes, it will.
You'll be ready.
The other day we started rehearsal, and all of a sudden we were about a week from previews, and we didn't feel the news tighten, as I said in rehearsal, but we did feel it drop ever so lightly on our shoulders.
We're heading to wrap up, but I did want to ask you one more question. You've had the unique experience on this show of rehearsing on the set the entire time.
Amazing. We went into the theater on the set. The set had been built. Now, growing up, we used to rehearse in the theaters a lot. They'd tape out the stage, the way it would be in a rehearsal hall, and you do your theater rehearsal process on the stage, go out for a few days, and they load in. For this show, because it's a 2-level set, they built the set, and we've rehearsed every day on the set. It's been an incredible luxury. I wish all actors could have that experience.
Great advantage, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Well, looking forward to seeing Democracy. I should mention it's at the Brooks Atkinson Theater here in New York. And again, let me repeat, goes into previews on the 3rd of November, opens on the 18th. I want to be sure people understand that it's happening right now.
Well, it is, and we'll give you a good time.
Well, Richard, thanks so much for being with us today on Downstage Center.
Thank you.